So, I hope you guys enjoying the pod, the Billionaire Pod, the biggest pod. Y'all know it's the biggest pod. Be sure to like, share, subscribe to this pod while you're watching it. Make sure you're taking notes, and also be sure to go over to www.protradersfund.com. Remember, we're giving away an iPhone. So go over to protradersfund.com, sign up, get a funded account, and get the opportunity to win an iPhone, right? Protradersfund.com, go over there, winners win. Y'all know the vibe, super blessed, super rich. Welcome back to the Billionaire Podcast. Today we're on the pod with Damian Austin, the CEO of On Call Weddings, one of the biggest, wedding companies in Jamaica. He offers MC services among many other services. He's a minister as well. You're a minister. If you're getting married and you need him to come and do that whole marriage thing, Damian is that guy. Damian is also major, is very big in the BPO industry. So he's the guy that you actually call if you want, if you have any issues with your workers or if you want to set up a BPO company. He's the guy that you actually call, and he will say banking and finance as well too.
Yeah, director of banking and finance for a specific BPO.
Okay, so he's at. So that I was kind of doing it broad. So I was actually giving you like the whole of my audience was going to come.
Yeah,
and be like
big topic.
Yeah, the whole of my audience was going to come. And just link you and be like, hey man, I want to start a BPO.
They can always connect.
So that's how I was going with it, because I never want to go specific to say, banking and finance for just one company.
Yeah.
It's more of, that's what you're very good at. You've been doing this for years, up on top of years. 20 plus years, right? And you've been doing on-call wedding for 10 years.
Yeah, going 12 years now.
Years now, right? So you see, the man has the most experience right now.
A lot of skin in the game.
So a lot of skin in the game. So I would still, although it says just banking and finance, I would still not limit to just that.
Understood.
Because
Greenfield operations,
because you even help me out with a couple stuff too. And that is not banking and finance related.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So welcome to the pod.
Thank you.
You know,
Big up.
Yeah man, so what we wanted to know is
Respect.
What we wanted to actually know is, how did Damian Austin get started with, his whole journey on, being a person who is, doing weddings, and you started the wedding company, which is On Call Weddings, and how did you actually get started in the BPO industry also?
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to know, what was your journey early out, when you decided to get started, right? And just life even before you decided to get started on your journey coming up. It's a lot of questions in one, but we're going to break it down as we go.
I could start in stages then. I could make him run
Let's
it
start
from
in stages. We're not going to pressure today.
Who is Damian Austin? So what made Damian Austin today. So you can start from high school.
Whoa.
Running from there.
All right, so Damian Austin is a public, a selective introvert. A lot of people don't know this because when I get in front of an audience, I'm the life of the party. So people don't know, but I seem to transition between personalities now. They say I have split personalities. It's like a Beyonce, Sasha Fierce type of thing. But anyway, but I'm a very easygoing person. From humble beginnings, and I'm an extreme workaholic. So I'm always on the grind. I love to work because it keeps me out of trouble. I tell people that all the time.
Yeah.
But as an individual, fun person. I love balance, so I'm always in the midst, and by extension, a lot of things that I do now has to do with just creating balance and a peaceful environment. So, in a nutshell, I'm just when I decide to become extroverted, I'm a vibes master, and when I decide to be introverted, I'm in my own little place. I like peace and quiet.
Yeah. Which month you born?
September, man. Yeah, 27, Libra. All the way, the most, we're the sexiest people on the planet. Yes, I'm Libra, Yeah. So that's me.
So in terms of
Business. All right. So as you know, I'm a church boy. Grew up with mother pastor, grandmother pastor, grandfather pastor, everybody.
Everybody a pastor.
Yeah, I didn't intend on
being a pastor.
No. Zero.
Yeah.
Furthest thing from my mind.
Yeah.
But I was always big in choirs and singing. That's my thing. It's a major part of my life now. Yeah, I'm a big music person, right?
Yeah.
So in the church back in the day, I was like a choir director, and somewhere along the line there was a minister who had gotten old, and the bishop at the time sent and called me I was out on the road doing choir ministry. You know, national choir director, you have to round up all the members of the choir from all the churches in Jamaica for like your grand convention. And they sent and called me. When I got there, I'm going to give you a little Bible story. There's a story of David. If you know the story of how David was chosen to become king, the Lord spoke to the prophet and asked him to go into Israel and find the king. When he went to the man in charge and he said, "Where are your sons?" He sent and called all the big strong sons to come out, but the prophet said, "No, none of these are to become the king." And he said, "Do you have any more sons?" He said, "Yes, I have a little one in the field who stay with the goat and the pussy and the chicken." And he said, "Call him."
Yeah.
Right? And when that little one came, that was David. Right? And we know the Bible is a whole slew of stories about him. He said, "This is the one." So my story was a little bit similar because I borderline and giving trouble. I'm kind of like a problem child.
Yeah.
So the day when they sent and called me, I came to the church and I was running. I ran around to the back. If you know anything about that church, there's the office where they call guest. I didn't knock. I just burst the door. And when I burst the door and got in, the bishops and the pastors were having a meeting. And the bishop just said, "This is the man." Yeah. Similar to the David story. You get me? Some said, "This is the man for what? Why not that man?" Some must sit down.
Yeah.
And then they say, "We're going to send you to a church." So that's where the ministry aspect of my life started. For weddings, I used to be a wedding singer, and now it ties together. So I used to go to people's wedding, shell down the reception, I play keyboard, sing to some like Brian McKnight and some.
Bad like that?
Yeah, man, well bad.
I'm gonna give a piece.
No, but yeah, if I had some music, I would, But anyway, so I used to sing. So I was a wedding singer, and then I got into hosting, fell in love with it, and then I said, I wanted to go all the way. So at the time, I was also a business consultant in BPO, but I did it for a wide variety of businesses. So I did some research into weddings, trying to say, okay, how can I make an impact? Found a niche because there wasn't anybody who you could call like this today and get married tomorrow, 24 to 48 hours. That didn't exist.
Oh, that's the name of on-call.
So I thought weddings on call, but then it just never clicked.
Yeah.
You get me? And then I came up with On-Call Weddings Jamaica, which I wanted to be that person who you could get off the ship today, get married today, go back on the ship later. And the slogan, all you have to do is call. And I came up with that. That was in 2010.
Yeah.
Right? And then I put in the application for this.
So basically it's like, 13 years now?
September will be 13 years. Right, so I put in the application for marriage officer. It took like a while. It took like 6 months. You go, you do the training, and I was accepted. And then from there, On-Call Weddings Jamaica started. Now, it took a while before it became what it is today, because at first maybe you do weddings in your immediate church and your immediate circles, and you probably get a wedding every couple of months, But today, it's like all day, every day. All day, every day.
I was that did kind of shock me at one point, because, like, I said this man will be like the weekday weddings.
Yeah, all day, every day.
Yeah, and I'm like, weddings on the weekday?
Yeah.
Like a Sunday thing.
No, we have weddings, and especially Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Weddings all the way through. And if I show you my calendar from now to September, October, every weekend.
Yeah.
It's booked. So it grew with time. but it has become a force to be reckoned with. And we can easily say it's probably the number one officiant and MC service.
What I even realized is that his name is being called among the biggest names in Jamaica. Like even on social media right now, I see like certain people call it, like for example, Terry Curl.
Terry Curl is a big fan of mine. A big friend and a big fan of mine.
Yeah, she called and she had only good things to say about this.
And she don't recommend anybody to anywhere else but on-call weddings.
Right? And then we said that you did a very big wedding, which is the Nino and the
Shanzi and Nino.
That was the wedding of the year last year, the royal wedding. The Duke and Duchess of Kingston. Yes.
Yeah, man. So what was your experience like with even that wedding though? Because even SK,
I was just gonna ask if he knows SK.
SK is my brother.
Yeah. So you and SK work together on that project.
A lot to work together, a lot. As a matter of fact, even yesterday, we were texting.
Yeah.
It's my brother. So, let me tell you, for that wedding, all right, I'll give you a story. When SK was probably selected to be the vendor, I went in and said to him, yo, I wanted to be the MC because my MC offering is what creates experiences. So we don't really sell wedding reception. We sell experiences. So when I'm at your wedding, it's guaranteed say it's gonna shell flat. People are gonna dance, people are gonna have fun.
Yeah.
And he said he probably would have, kind of pitched in, but it fell through the cracks. It never happened. And then I guess the wedding venue that they chose to host their wedding, which is Rose Hall Montego Bay.
Yeah.
I'm one of the officiants for Rose Hall Montego Bay.
Yeah.
So when they selected Rose Hall, the planner there, who is my associate, she called me up and she's like, yo, there's this couple. They're very young, they're very vibrant, and they want to get married. And we think, your aura, your vibe is going to be what they want to say, to complete their wedding. And so she gave the contact, spoke with them. And, them pretty cool. Them very, 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 them super cool. It was easy. Got my paperwork, did the necessary processing, showed up one day, did a consultation before, talked about what they wanted. And we just executed it. Yeah. It was free flow. Keep the groom calm while the bride arrives and, go through the vows and, you keep it professional, but you keep it also... you had a little bit of humor, a little bit of sexy, and then you keep it unorthodox. And that's me. That's what sells Anka, because it's different from your traditional, long, drawn out, boring wedding.
That's the thing I know. Like most weddings are normally just
not with us, bro.
For the marriage, you set the vows, the ring put on, all right, everybody, blah, blah, blah.
Not with us, bro. Yeah. Our thing is a whole vibe by itself. So people look forward. And then we allow our clients and couples the freedom of expression throughout their wedding. So they, in a consultation, get the opportunity to customize their flow however they want it to be, which can make your wedding different.
Yeah.
You understand? So if they say, they want to... I've done weddings where the bride landed in a helicopter.
Yeah.
You get me? I've done it on the boat out at the sea. Yeah. We do it anywhere.
So if somebody's at sea right now and they say...
Come out and marry them. Well, right now... So one thing I need to point out is that even though it's on call, there is a time frame for me that I consider a minimum time frame that I have to be in dialogue with you before I can get you married. And shortest possible time frame during weekdays would be 24 hours, because if you provide me with the requisite paperwork.
So man can't call it like, bro, I
want to get married 5 o'clock.
From now.
No.
But 24 hours is still impressive.
24 hours is the best you can get.
It's really impressive, because if I can call you the day before I want to get officially married, and you can have everything planned, everything organized, everything sorted out.
The officiant piece. So for private weddings, people will they have to supply you with certain documents. And if those documents are received by a certain time, within 24 hours of that time, I can have legitimate paperwork through the Ministry of Justice ready.
Oh, so you have to go.
So there's a.
I thought the Ministry of Justice was like
so that's
like the crime
and thing.
No, Ministry of Justice handles marriages.
Yeah,
there's a marriage unit, and they process what is called a minister's license, which is the authorization that a marriage officer gets to conduct a wedding on the island. So we use that.
So much
so that's why when you go and you charge people, they're like, oh, but you're only going to be standing up with us for 15 minutes. No, but they don't know that there's a lot that goes into it in advance of the actual ceremony. So they have to submit copies of birth certificates, passports, divorce decrees if they've been married, if they had a name change, deed poll, if their partner died, they have to submit a death certificate if they're a widow or a widower.
For so say for instance a person was already married and they want to get married again,
they have to show a divorce decree. If you were...
No, but if the person is dead...
then you show the death certificate because now you're a widow or a widower. Right? Okay. So now you have to prove that the person has died in order for you to be able to legally wed. So when we submit, so let me can I walk you through the process?
Yeah
man.
So you submit the documents. Documents are vetted. They must be stamped and signed by a JP. So I fill that gap as a JP. Right?
The man is a JP as well. Justice of the peace. So you offer like on-call JP services?
You could say that. I'm probably one of the JPs you can call and come to you. Because I'm always on the go. So
okay.
But you submit those documents, must be vetted, stamped and signed by a JP. Then you fill out a declaration form. Declaration form outlines that marriage is going to happen between A and B. And those two people have to sign the declaration form along with witnesses, right? And then from there, you go to the tax office, purchase a stamp duty, and now you submit the documents stamped and sealed along with the stamp duty and the completed declaration form to the Ministry of Justice. No, here's a trick to it now. Ministry of Justice operates within a certain time frame. So what completes your 24-hour process for me, all documents must be submitted on a business day between the hours of 9 and 11. If it's submitted between 9 and 11, you receive it between 3 and 4 p.m. Anything outside of 9 and 11 is the next business day.
Okay, so
right.
So say for instance, Khalil submits from 9 to 11 a.m., right?
Right.
You get it back to him by 3 p.m.
I get it back at 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. But if it's 11:01, it's the next business day. So that kills my 24-hour delivery, if you understand what I mean.
And then once him get by the document 3 p.m.,
he can marry that 4 and can marry 3:01. So that means I can do same day if the documents are received within the appropriate time frame. And that is what I'm in Mobay, but I go all island. So if I'm in Kingston and you're in Kingston, we can get it on the same day. But if I'm in Mobay, I have to use bearer services or I just jump in the car and just shut it, go up quick and fast. You get me?
Bro, that's amazing stuff.
So we charge a premium and we make it happen. You understand?
But it's worth it still. It's worth it. Yeah. So it's like, all right. When I was a kid, I used to think that you just tell a girl you want married and you just married.
And a lot of people still think that that's how it works. But there's a pre-ceremony, the actual ceremony, and a post-ceremony. Now, after you conduct the ceremony, you have to now make sure all the documents align. So whatever is on the minister's license, and there are two other methods that you can use to marry people, which that's for a deeper conversation. But you use the minister's license, you make sure the information matches. And I left my register in the car. It would have been good to bring that. But you fill out that information on the marriage register. When they get married, they print their names along with their witnesses. Now you have to make sure everything matches, everything is aligned. Because the bigger part of this issue is if you make a mistake. And you say the person is 25 when there's 24. Now remember that what happens at the RGD is registered in Statin, the Statistical Institute of Jamaica. So if that one error is...
mess up a lot.
You screw up everything. You don't understand the magnitude because the marriage register is a legal document. You mean you get gazetted to become a marriage officer. You know? So you submit, and then you have to now submit that to the RGD for them to log it and register it, and then you can apply for the actual marriage. I do everything. So my clients don't have to hustle and go join a line. Nothing.
Makes the whole process easier.
One-stop shop.
One time I used to see like people be going to, for example, down how Jamaica is. you have to like one office that you have to go to sign one document.
And then
it's like way down
10 miles from the other. Right. Let's use Kingston.
Yeah, Kingston.
If you're applying for a marriage license without on-call weddings,
you
have to go to Market Street.
Without on-call weddings.
Yeah. You have to go Market Street to the tax office.
Yeah.
Get a stamp duty. You have to go Spanish Town or the Kingston regional office to get the declaration form, and then you have to go to Constant Spring Road to get the minister's license form. Now here's the thing: there's a special paper, the form, I think it's Form 2, that the stamp duty must be placed on. That you get at either the RGD or the ministry. So imagine you have to go to Ministry of Justice. Now, I've been at the Ministry of Justice putting in applications and people come with their forms incomplete and they don't have the stamp duty and they send them back. They have to go back down to Market Street, downtown. You leave from Constant Spring Road, go to Market Street to get it. So by the time you come back now, it's after 12.
You're done.
You know what I'm saying? You're not see it till tomorrow. And if you have a local divorce decree, which happened within the courts of Jamaica, that has to be sent to the Supreme Court to be vetted to ensure validity. So, there's a way, but people think, oh, you just come and stand up and sign two paper. No. But I've mastered the art of making all of that happen.
So how do you manage like so much people? Because I know you get so many people reach out to you. Like, how do you manage the massive amount of people that are reaching out to you and are going to reach out to you after the pod on a day-to-day basis?
Well, so On-Call Weddings has grown significantly over the years, and even though I'm the face of the business and the vibe master, most people call they want Ozzy, because my alter ego is Ozzy the MC, right?
Like, my name is Ozzy the MC.
Same way, like that. Yeah, and I tell them that, the minister has gone home to his wife and kids, and my alter ego, I just get loud and crazy and full of vibes, right? But the truth is, I manage my time very well. Everything is run to a calendar, and I have admin who takes care of all of the bookings and the contracts, because we do a very formal, rigid process. You contact us, you send us an email with your request, fill out a request form with all the required information. Then from there, we send you back a contract, sign, deposit, lock in. Then we do a consultation, tell us what you want, then we execute. And we flawless execution. But I also have 5 other marriage officers.
Yeah.
No. 5.
That's massive.
5. And I have 3 other MCs. And I work with a slew of MCs that are not branded as On-Call. They're their own brands, but they do good enough jobs that I partner with them. Yeah. So I have a few. I have Debonair, I have Master of Ceremonies, Entertainment, and then I have my own guys internally. And I have like 3 proteges that I'm working on. Because I see, futuristically, people are going to need the services. So I try to build. And if I tell a client I'm sending this person, my work has already spoken. Itself, so they know I'm not going to mess up the brand by sending anything that's pugwash to conduct.
So like, all right, look at this. So you're a minister and you're an MC.
Yeah.
Normally they're separate, right?
Yeah.
So how do you strike that balance and just that seamless flow of being a minister and an MC?
That's a very, very good question. Yeah. In the early stages, there were some planners and people who struggled. Why? Because weddings locally, and I'm going to say locally because the truth is I do a lot more destination weddings than anything else. So the majority, maybe about 70% of my audience is traveling from another country to get married here. And so the local piece of the business would struggle with you going from being the buttoned up minister to the very vivacious or excited MC. But that is because people historically or culturally know weddings to be raunchy. Yeah. And sometimes sexually out of context.
Yeah, so that's what I was asking.
But Ozzy never. Ozzy.
The balance with the minister and the MC,
People love the fact that they find a minister who can say the word sex publicly. Yeah. You get me?
Sex is a natural
but the church has a way of blindsiding it like it's a major crime. We all came to fruition through that very act. You get me? So People love the fact that they can find a minister who is open enough to have fun, laugh, and trust me, I'll tell you this, and you can ask any planner. I work with the top planners on the island. I work with a number of the hotels. I work with everybody. Yeah. You can ask them. I never utter a raunchy word from my mouth. Most of my disciplines or my humor is subjective to people's thoughts. Yeah. So if you're cutting the cake, and I say you're gonna stick it in, you get me? Yeah, but in reality, you're legitimately sticking a knife into the cake. All right. When they're getting married, for example, this is one of my punchlines. The groom is putting the ring onto the wife's finger. And for the grooms, I always say, like I say, Chavez, one thing I'd like to teach you in marriage, this is when he's putting on the ring. I said to him, you're going to place that ring slowly on your wife's finger. And I said, one thing I'll teach you in marriage, if your wife does not say stop, just keep going. No, audience mash up, because they start think something else. And then I always say the rings. I'm talking about the rings, right? But people would assume that, you know, when they're doing like a sand ceremony, I would say they're both pouring the sand they both pour 2 separate colors of sand into a central vase. That's a symbolic ceremony representing the joining of 2 lives together. Yeah. So we say, once the sands have been poured, they'll never be separated. You can't separate them again, no matter what you do, because the sand is mixed. Now, when the man and the woman pouring together, I will say to the groom, sir, whatever you do, one rule of thumb is you never finish first. Right? The audience go crazy because them start think sexually, don't finish first. But in a real life, I say, talking about the son. Don't make your son finish before her son. So I use languages that are suggestive, but never rude. I never utter a rude word out of my mouth, pretty much. And the way people know, I have to correct them and say, come back, keep your minds pure, you know? Well, and, you know, so yeah.
Well, earlier you said you were an introvert.
Yeah, man.
You say you switch.
I'm selectively extroverted, so I choose when to be an outburst person.
Well, the thing about introvert version, like, it's either you're extremely introverted or extremely extroverted.
So that's why I said I'm selectively extroverted. Yeah. So I can be in public and you don't see me. So period.
You have to train yourself to be like that, or it's just natural?
It's a natural for me. And you know what's funny, Chavez? When I was younger, you know, I got so much chastisement for talking too much. Yeah. Everybody, yo, shut up. Talk too much. Chat too much. I get that. I talk for a living. Yeah. Every single functional business that I have right now is associated with me verbalizing. Pretty much in my 9 to 5 in BPO, I talk. That's what I do. Yeah. And I went through the ranks of that business over the years, 20 odd years doing that. And I just have a natural flow and way with words. I'm a preacher. That's talking, you know? Yeah. And that, even though that's more on the spiritual side of life, it serves a great benefit to people. I am a counselor. I talk. You get me? People come to me both for, you know, personal problems. By no means am I a trained psychiatrist or psychologist, but in terms of peer counseling, domestic violence advocate, that type of thing.
It's the thing I love about you. All right, you said just a while ago, you said I'm not a trained psychologist, right? Or psychiatrist.
Yeah, right.
But most of the best advice you would get is not from a trained psychiatrist.
Because they go by the books, man. Yeah, but I use the day-to-day life applications in my...
I don't want... If me have a problem now, I don't want to hear nothing about a book. Like the moment I'd come to you, and the moment I realize this target to... booksy or
too theoretical.
To the rules. I don't really want it. Because my problem is a real problem. Real life problem.
And that's how those are some. So I have a large following as it relates to relationship counseling. As you know, I also host a singles live Sunday nights. The singles live, But and truth is, you know, subliminally there, a young lady from my singles live texted me few weeks ago, and she's like, hey, what's up? I'm like, I'm good. And she's like, you remember that guy that came on your singles live a few weeks ago, because there's a guy that came on who said he was to the point, but and she just WhatsApp me a picture. Oh, he's here for my birthday. So I know the work happening in the background. But I just create a platform for people to see. The guys are not always bold, so they will slide into the girls' DMs. But my job is to create a platform for people to match. And so I think for me, I'm a natural, but I know when to shut off. So what is weird, I'll tell you this, is I go from marriage, from officiant to MC to my own personal self. You see, once work is done, the whole energy and shouting and screaming is done.
Yeah.
And people find it weird because I don't stay back at weddings, I don't stay back at the after parties. When I'm done work, I'm gone to my yard. And people are like, yo, why don't you No, it's like I go right out of the MCLE. See, once I scream on the top of my lungs and say, ladies and gentlemen, this was your MC Ozzy Austin. It was a pleasure serving you. DJ. Done. Mic done. But right back to my very quiet self. Where's my car key? I'm gone.
Yeah.
You get me? So, I mean, people see me dancing and, I'll rile up any crowd in a second. But then I go right back to my normal self.
So on the topic of you, being an outspoken person, right? And all your work having to do with speech. I wonder if you know that this man started a call center in the early 2000s.
I had my own call center for 10 years. Global Outsourcing Solutions. Big up the partners.
That's still out there right now.
No, well, it's the name has changed now.
Yeah.
But two of the partners are still operating.
Perfect.
But I left it after about 9.5 years. But I was the brainchild, co-founder, chief operations officer. So I brought in the clients, trained people, brought in the business. And when I say brought in the business, I mean, cold pitch. Like you pick up the phone, you call a company in California. My name is Damian Austin. I'm co-founder of Global Outsourcing.
Wall Street style.
Yeah, and you ever watch that?
Wolf of Wall Street. Yeah, man. Just like that.
Cold call, and they're like, we'd like to talk to the decision maker, and you go through the gatekeeper. Listen, we'd like to show you a demo. We're in Jamaica. We're fully owned because our call center was the first fully Jamaican-owned call center, meaning no international partners. We pump up our own little money together and rent to space and went to far and get the clients, come back, train the people, and went up to like about 500 employees. As a matter of fact, we were doing surveys for the election when Trump was going to become president. You get me? So I made the mark. You get me? We put in the work, and it has its. You learn from these experiences. Now I'm very well settled in a very established BP organization.
So it's more to focus on like consulting and stuff.
I don't even do that much anymore. Somebody may call me and say, "Hey, I want to start," and I give them advice. But I'm settled in a very seasoned organization as director of banking.
What does the director of banking do though?
So we manage banking portfolios, and banking means loans, auto loans.
Oh, so you basically
they call us. So it's from beginning to end, like the life cycle of loans. So it falls within banking. So credit cards, loans, auto loans, some of the major players. We don't name drop, but major players across the world. Names that you see when you turn on the cable.
Oh, so it's not local companies, international companies.
All international.
Okay, so the customers...
Fortune 500, Fortune 100, and maybe a few Fortune 50.
Amazing.
Yes.
So what I want to ask you.
That's the other side.
So you said the customers would call, so they're basically calling you to check their accounts and their payments and stuff.
Make payments, find out if they're up to date, keep themselves current, etc., etc., etc.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's massive. Because like me personally, I have a few businesses and I have like over 100,000 customers across the different businesses, right? So what I was thinking to do is either outsource a company or I would basically just rent. Because I have an office space that is empty right now, 1,000 square foot office space that I was thinking to just, but that's on the North Coast. So I was thinking to just not use that office space for that, but just have an office space in Kingston, then I could hire from the universities and stuff like that. And then just have like a BPO company business process outsourcing, but it's not for external. It's for my companies.
Yeah, so
where we call the customers.
it can happen, and there's small companies within the realms of, because if you're talking big names, then they're going to have big dollars per hour, right? Which may affect your margins.
They're paying big dollars, or they're collecting.
So the per hour rate from a Fortune 500 versus what the per hour rate that you would pay directly if you are doing it is probably, there's a major gap between both, right? Major.
Like a chiching major.
Like a chiching major.
Three majors is a big major.
When you think about what it costs in USD to pay an employee versus what a BPO pays, but what a client pays to a BPO, there's a major difference. But the truth is, the facility that is offered around an employee
is expensive,
right? So
I know the technology is
right,
very expensive.
and then the technology, the dialers. So there's a lot that goes into it. You understand? But highly possible.
Just
I mean, easy. Like for me, I can do it with my eyes closed.
But how long you think it would take me to set? Like if I'm getting consultations from you and I'm setting up something like that with like probably 10 workers. How long you think that would be?
All right, with the right technology, you can start in about 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
And the right technology is just the right computer, the right software to make the calls and stuff.
Software, and now in this day and age, people are using more soft technology. So these are applications that are loaded to your system.
So no
and
hard
then
technologies.
So you don't use like PBX them something there anymore. You do like a soft phone. You load that technology, and then you have a termination company. You know, by termination I mean a telephonic company that will terminate your calls, you know, from here to the US or wherever. So you have a termination point like in Florida. The calls come there, voice over IP, and then they send them out. So those companies are few and far. They're not few and far. There are a lot of them out there.
Yeah.
So you just need to find the right partners. And if you're doing it locally, makes it even easier because at Digital and Flow, you get me?
But Digital and Flow give you an international number or a local number.
You can get a TFN toll-free number from any one of these companies that you want. Yeah.
So you have the sauce.
You can
So you
get
have the
1-800 PJ.
So
PJ,
he has the sauce.
1-800 P Billy.
Yeah.
So it's not difficult, but it's to find somebody who has the know-how because ideally you can say, okay, there was a friend of mine the other day that wanted to launch a company. He came to me, my friend right down the road from me, and he's a salesman, and he just found somebody who he met in his job, and they said, hey, want to do some work in Jamaica. Within 3 weeks, he had an organization up and running, downtown Montego Bay, 15 people, and he was doing his thing, still doing it right now. You get me? And I didn't because I'm settled in a very seasoned organization. I didn't partake with that because it would have a conflict of interest.
I understand. But you offering consulting.
It would be
that still would be conflicted.
Yeah, conflict of interest if it's within the same field of work.
So you're telling me that because, for example, because you're
for you locally, no conflict.
Oh, but
for somebody coming internationally.
Okay, so as long as I'm dealing with because the thing
your line of business completely separate and apart.
Yeah, because the thing with like locally customer service, especially on the phone, is not that great, right?
Right.
We
know that.
So what I'm trying to do is, because we get a lot of calls, like thousands of calls on a day-to-day basis. So we're just trying to expand, especially with the podcast. We get so many calls on a day-to-day basis, and just the other businesses and stuff like that. Which I'm a big believer in customer service.
Very important as a driver of your business.
Yeah.
So the thing is, I want to. And this is why I have the idea, I want to set up just a central place because most of my workers work remote right now. So I want to just set up a central place for them to
everybody can come
work and everybody just can sing together, And it's amazing because currently I have about 15 to 20 workers working with me, and I want to expand as well. But my biggest fear is expanding, and I do have a central location.
Yeah, you need if growth is by diversifying your offerings centrally located, it's more easily managed.
Yeah. And
you hire somebody to sit over the programs, and then you train your trainers, and You know, then you can talk about succession planning.
He
and
does.
how-
He does. You see all of them words there and them fancy stuff them I use like succession planning, compliance, and you know, just overall planning of the business from start to end.
Yeah.
He does that as well, too, you know. So if you have a business right now that you know you want to get off the ground and you want to ensure that you have the right people on your team and the right department set up,
And everything organized
He does
and
that.
stable.
Let's say I'm tired with the top recruiters in the country.
yeah.
So if you want somebody for any line of business, I can pick up my phone and say, I need a hotel manager tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I'll get 10 people in my inbox.
That's it for real, that's it.
The recruiters call me to find people for them.
Yeah.
You get me? But as I say, I don't do any of this formally anymore because I'm settled in an organization. I love it there. So I'm not trying to, you know, compete. I'm okay with on-call already.
No, but they don't. But the thing is, they don't do consulting. They just do the calls for like outsourced.
Yeah, man. But let me explain to you how it works. So BPO is kind of like alright. So for example, when I used to work for a company in Kingston, BPO company, I was business unit manager, strategic business unit manager, and I was in 2011, right? When On-Call Weddings was just being born officially. And at that point, I partnered with the other guys to start Global Outsourcing Solutions. When I started Global Outsourcing, I was still working with the other BPO.
Yeah.
And they found out, because you know, your business registered now, your name is in public records and stuff. And then it was a major conflict of interest. So, you know, they come into a meeting and say, oh, you know, we're going to have to part ways, da. So what I do is, once I'm embedded somewhere, I just steer away from it.
It's a life lesson. That was an early lesson.
Early lesson for me. 'Cause that was many
Early
years
at a better
ago,
time.
right?
Yeah.
So I give like full commitment when I'm buried with an organization because
Like you're married.
yeah, the one thing perfect analogy. The one thing you'll never be able to say is that I never gave it my all. You get me? And I'm a very committed person. I do it with life. I do it with family, and I do it with work. So people will tell you, one of the most committed, you know, I just have fun doing what I do. You know, I'm going to a wedding. They'll tell you probably, them call me the hot pastor.
Yeah.
Because I'm a
Basil.
What? Where me go for the suit then, man? I don't play it. You understand? Yeah, man. The thing have to fly, man. And it have to color coordinate, you know. So when you see blue, everybody in a blue, pastor in a blue, everybody. Yeah, man. Me shell it down.
Let me ask you a big question, right? Because they're normally telling you that as a church individual, as a pastor, especially as a pastor, because you're the main figure in the church. You can't dress too flashy. You can't you can't drive certain stuff. You can't like certain. You can't live certain places as well too. Right?
Well,
Who said that?
That's what the traditionally they normally say that though.
You're messing now. Seeing me have to slap down your water.
You can't talk certain ways, you know.
All right. So, I probably would consider
You can't watch
myself.
certain movies.
Well, clearly. For that, yes. But let me tell you, you want to lead what is called a spiritually balanced life. The historic concept behind church is centered on like Matthew 5. Say Matthew 5 was said the meek shall inherit the earth. And then people take meekness to a whole nother level.
What is meek?
Just humility, being calm, being composed, being calculated in your every move, your every sentence, your thoughts, your actions. So you're not rowdy, you're never loud, you're never over the top, you're not quick to judge, not quick to speak. The Bible tell you about them things here. But you see how I operate. It's like easy going, right? But then historically the church has misdefined or they have represented meekness as poverty.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
It's a poor representation of the word. So people have the notion that there's a scripture that says it's better for a rich man. It's easier for a rich man for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than a rich man to go into heaven. No more for all of the biblical, for all of the scholars and the theologians, I want to tell you, said the eye of a needle was a hole in the wall of the city.
Yeah.
It was a hole. But the reason why they call it eye of a needle is because when you look at the city from a distance, it looked like a needle's eye. In order for a camel to go through it because they were tall, they had to kneel and walk through that hole.
Okay, so you're
So
basically saying that
it's not literally a camel going through a needle's eye.
Yeah.
It's a place in the wall of the city designed for camels to walk through, but they had to kneel down. So it gave them a little bit of a challenge because camels talk.
Yeah, them not really. Yeah.
So they have to put like a work into it.
Yeah,
The Bible made reference to that, and people use it and say, so the church teaches that if you're rich, but it's a wrong
Let me show you something.
philosophy.
You see, my understanding of that now is the fact that, all right, now that you break that down and make me know, so the needle is the wall, like a big
Needle's
hole on
eye
the wall.
is a huge hole.
So
You could have walked through it, but a camel can't just walk through it.
So look at this. So you say it's easier for a camel to do
go
that
through
than
it.
a rich man. My view of that now is that them probably have said, all right, a rich man I'm not going to kneel or be humble or this or that.
So
that's
give
my
me
view.
a high five.
That's my view of it
Exactly
right
my
now,
point.
you know?
And you set your mind on your riches. So the Bible goes on to say in a different scripture, if riches increase, set not your heart upon it. So if you have $1 billion, easy and go through, be somebody who the people can touch, who people can see, who the people can relate to. Because a lot of times wealth changes your perception of life.
Make it feel like you're better than
You're
people.
untouchable.
Yeah.
So it's simply saying, same meekness. You see it go right back.
No matter
And when you
rich
meek,
get.
bro, you near the earth, and the earth is filled with riches and wealth. You get me? What I'm trying to say?
And that's the fact. And I'm like, all right, look at this. I make money, right? And I would consider, because everybody around me, I try my best to help. Even people in my DMs, people that just see me. I not know people like randomly and just. There's this lady a couple years ago. I don't know if you saw that video, right? But she was homeless. She had cancer.
I remember that video.
And they basically put her out. And that same night, I sent her 300,000 Jamaican dollars and tell her to find
Somewhere for rent. Yeah, I remember,
somewhere for rent.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember
Right?
that video.
Tell her, find somewhere for rent and call me. I'm gonna send her some more money, right? And it's a situation where on social media, a person will get the version of me that they want. Meaning, if you come to me with foolishness, I'm gonna tell you straight, right? And if you come to me with good vibe, and I'm as humble as you want me to be, or as aggressive as you want me to be.
Yeah.
You
Based
get
on
me?
the circumstances.
Based on the
yeah.
circumstance, which I think a lot of people are.
Yeah,
Because
everybody
if somebody
adjusts.
Everybody
Yeah,
just
yeah.
because if somebody disrespecting you right now, you're not going to take it.
Yeah.
Or if somebody trying to drag your name, you're not going to take it. Right? But a lot of people will interpret that, okay, you're rich, you're unapproachable, or you should. Even people like, for example, if you get rich right now, most people will tell you that, hey man, you need to not be so approachable, or you need to not be cool with
Everybody.
everybody and stuff like that. But there's nothing wrong with being cool with people, you know, because we're here for experiences, as I said earlier. I want to live a good life with people and create memories, because these same people are the ones that are going to share the stories of the memories that you actually live with them, right? So what I would have said to that though is that, all right, you get rich, don't act like you're better than people still, you know.
Right.
But more of just, as long as you're setting boundaries, you're good.
You adjust.
You adjust.
Accordingly, yeah, man.
You just need to set your boundaries. You don't need for better than people or act like you're better than people and stuff like that. Just set your boundaries, make people understand that, hey, while I might have it, you still have to work towards it too, you know. You know, because this is mine and this is mine. And if I want to give you,
That's up
you
to
know,
me.
that's up to me, you know. And I feel like also why a lot of people feel like rich people are, I want to find a good word to say this bad word, because he's a pastor.
When you say bougie,
So it's a situation where you say no to somebody and they start look at you the most negative ways and say the most negative things, but you said yes 10 times and you're all good, you're the boss.
yeah,
everything.
and truth is, oftentimes one bad outweighs a world of good. So,
Yeah.
well, one perceived bad, put it that way. So, I mean, at the end of the day, we can open up many different arenas of life, be it relationships, be it finances. For me, I just want to be, and I've worked to become a very well-rounded person.
Yeah.
So in anything that I do, I tell them in the office, in weddings, the same thing. I'm gonna have the ultimate success, the ultimate results, right? And I do that. So anybody at all that I have wedded, and any couple of the thousands, I'm gonna do whole heap of weddings.
Yeah.
of weddings that I've hosted. Right now on Wedding Wire, I'm the biggest Wedding Wire.
Wire is in Jamaica.
No, Wedding Wire is the world's largest wedding vendor marketplace.
Yeah.
I am biggest Caribbean minister on that website. See?
Yeah.
165 5-star reviews.
Yeah.
Straight, and this is from the scratch.
Yeah.
Working weddings and saying, hey, send me,
wedding that's still
do
in
no, that's just the one that's give reviews. It's not even local people and it's just people who go back because you may get 10% of your folks dropping a review. People busy, people doing, people, they will love you so much. Sometimes you don't ask for it.
Yeah.
And you see a review pop up, oh my God, Damion was so great. Or, and I cherish those things because when my clients to be are in search of an officiant and they go, Google, I want to get married in Jamaica. If not the first person that pops up is that little bald man.
The big bald man.
Yeah. And so we get a lot of those every day. And I ran this by myself while doing everything else up to 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Just coming up. Just when did the pandemic stop?
Stop?
About last year?
Yeah, last year.
So leading up to the pandemic, I did all of this plus everything else that I do by myself. So post that, we now have admin, we now have a business number, business line, business email. So you don't have to talk to me, but a lot of people still want to call me. But we direct you to the business line and then you go through the full booking process.
So you being so flushed with so much connections, right? And as you were saying, you can make a call and you can have a hotel manager. So you request to have a hotel manager and you get 10 of them willing to work with you, right? So what are your thoughts, are your views on networking? Because networking is a big thing for us.
It's bigger than you think it is. Your network is you and it's everything about you. And as you know, I'm not going to say sad to say, in the business arena, your network defines you, to some extent. So what you have to do is find your niche, find all the supporting elements or business acumens or business relationships that can support what you do, and you keep them close to you.
Offer them value, you take value,
keep them close
offer
to
them
you.
value.
You get me? Chavez will know, if you're going into real estate, you want to have the contractors, you want to have you want to have the foreman, you want to have the mason, you want the electrician,
reliable
you want,
people too,
you want the plumber, you get me, and you want a few of them, So all right, so On-Call Weddings Jamaica, as it is right now, we have officiants that we liaise with in from Negril to Portland. That's our reach. That's the entire Jamaica. So if somebody called me in Ochi last week, somebody called me from the hotel. Hey, we need a marriage officer in Ochi. I was working in Kingston. Pick up my phone, make a call to my Ochi marriage officer.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, no problems. He ran in, covered the event for me, pick up him stipend, and him good.
Yeah.
Somebody before we started the podcast, got a call from Rio Negril, a minister down there, want a minister. One phone call, because I have a team that I can pick up the phone.
Not just a team, we have a reliable
very
team.
reliable team.
Yeah.
Very reliable team.
So what are your thoughts on like expansion though? Like expanding your team, your offerings and all of that?
All right. So my dream, and I will say my dream is to, and I've already started the initial stages of this dream, is to have On-Call Weddings worldwide, right? I've already bought the domain, so it's no longer On-Call Weddings Jamaica.
It's worldwide.
So OnCallWeddings.com.
Yeah.
You get me? I bought the domain, so we're going to update the website for that. And I've already started liaising with officiants across the U.S. I have one connection in Atlanta, one in Florida, and then everybody else here is Jamaica. So what I want to do is I want to go On-Call Weddings Atlanta. You get me? And now once I create a foundation there, then I branch into another state that I can, and then I start. So how I work here is I contract these ministers, and when I get a wedding, I send them to do it, and they get a premium fee. So I want to do the same thing internationally.
Like,
you just sign up to become an on-call weddings officiant.
So you'd be like a management company now.
Pretty
then,
much for weddings. So anybody want to get married, they contact us. We find the officiant in your area, send the officiant to you.
So you have any plans on offering like full service where you offer like
planning and decor?
All of them things?
No. You want to know what? In February of 2019, a client saw my reviews online, contacted me, and she's like, she wanted us to do the full wedding. Right? As you know, my wife is a chef, so the three most important elements are done: pasta, MC, and the food. Then there was the decor and stuff. So we put together and we had an amazing wedding with the bride. Bride rode in on a white stallion and a horse thing. Extra, right? Yeah. It was really, really. But what I recognize is that I was now diving into waters of my employers, and I'm gonna speak it openly. Yeah. Because you as a wedding planner it's hire like competition. Me. Right. Yeah. So you the wedding planners. Yeah. So I step back.
It's what I love about you. It's like you're willing to break bread.
Yeah, man. That's it. And there's enough for everybody. There's a big bread out there, no brother.
You're willing to break bread. You're not trying to just take.
Yeah. No. So when I did that wedding, and in hindsight, looking back at how well the wedding went and everything was good. Bride and her husband gave me 5 stars. They're still my friends to this day. But then I thought, if all the planners hire me, if I get someone who wants to plan, why not send them to the respective planners? Because I'm still going to get my slice of the cake as an officiant and an MC. So I just backed off from the idea of planning.
A slice of the pie better than all of the pie.
And I stuck to my niche. Yeah. There's no other on-call weddings in Jamaica on this island. There's no other Ozzy Austin on this island. And if you go anywhere in the circles of weddings and you say, I want the best MC, my name must come up.
100%. As we talked about earlier, all of the big names are recommended.
Must come up. If my name don't come up, you're not talking to the right people. Yeah. And I'm not talking, the even the backyard weddings. Person who want you coming in the backyard, come do a quick wedding. I'm missing one.
What's the most memorable wedding experience you've had?
I've had so many. Let me see.
The best one.
When you say best, you can talk about the funniest, or you can talk about the most elaborate. Alright, so one of the best wedding experiences I've had was a wedding that I did at Moon Palace with one of the top planners on the island, and it was an Afro-American wedding.
What's that?
African and American.
Oh, I think you mean like Afros.
No, Afro-American. So African-American. Yeah. And it was huge. Probably about 250 people. And I mean, the people, if you know anything about us or lineage of coming from African descent, we love dance and music. So I was both the officiant and I was the MC for that wedding. Was I the officiant? Can't remember. But I know I was the MC. That wedding, we walked into the room and everything was in white, and it was just like a beautiful experience. And they had an international DJ from Africa. The man there with millions of followers on Instagram. Little on-call weddings, they fret me and said, Jesus, peace, I can't go. Fell down. Like the minute I touch the microphone, man.
Yeah.
Oh, God, man.
Alter ego. Man. Ozzy.
Yeah, Ozzy. Everybody was on the dance floor. Like, all the way through. We did like this thing. So how I make my weddings unique is I create. So I believe I should be the trendsetter. So if I come to your wedding and I'll give you an example. I went to a wedding in Palladium, and the kids were all around me, like jumping up. I wanted to touch the microphone. Yeah. So what I did is I said, okay, at a particular segment,
Yeah.
Right? I'm gonna have co-MCs.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna give each of the kids an opportunity. Yeah, and it just pop up in my head.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, I'm calling up my co-MC Chad, which is a little 5-year-old boy.
Yeah.
And I tell Chad what he needs to announce. And Chad come out, and so I call that the Rising Star segment. So you don't know which of them is going to become a future MC or a politician or something.
Yeah.
So I open the floor to them, and I'm like, okay, so this person is gonna announce a toast, this person is gonna announce like a dance or something. And you give the kids an opportunity to bloom. You put them out on the dance floor, let them dance. This thing now, the sturdy is a big thing.
The sturdy
I can't do it because my bone them not so strong, but the kids do that little jumping thing there. So I have the Rising Star segment, and I have the open mic segment where random people can either come and sing a song. And by singing a song, I mean the DJ is playing, is gonna drop hits, and I'm just gonna randomly hand you the mic and you have to do something. You get me? To the vibe of the audience. So I build these things in the moment. When I leave the wedding, I draw from my phone and I go to my notepad. New initiative, new game. Boom, 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 and and then the next wedding, I go try it. And then I leave the other MCs to see it and try it themselves.
I love that.
So that's what keeps me fresh. Always something new. There's they won't ever go to 2 weddings and you see the exact same thing. It's impossible.
Innovation.
You get me?
So in terms of you tell us that you have the website coming, you're expanding to the
that's the dream.
To
go internationally.
Internationally. So other than that, what is next for Damian Austin and On-Call Wedding?
Well, there are a few other things that I do personally.
Mm-hmm.
For me at this time, a lot of my energies is kind of focused on honing my skills, becoming better, and then kind of building a even more solid bond with family. And my sons, I have 2 boys, Alir and Aiden. So I want to start having the opportunity to, because I've worked hard, so I want to start having the opportunity now to spend some more time. I've shied away from traveling a lot. It's because I'm always working. So now that I have a team, I am starting now to consider that in the coming
more
years.
Vacations.
Because you can just make the phone call and have it done.
Yeah, man. That's the part of the lease, So, but the hard part is now transitioning the new clientele into acceptance mode for anybody who is not bald-headed and big.
But you probably have
usually when them call them
want me, right? And if it's a certain executive or a certain celebrity or whatever, if you the minimum one. So that is a challenge. But my what's next for me is, honing those skills, and then some of the, what's the word I'm looking for? The returns from On-Call Weddings now is to be pointed to, the future of my kids, and also some other businesses that I'm branching off into now.
Banking and finance, so
real
investment
estate
has to be.
Yes, real estate. Already. I used to be in a few other businesses. I used to be in the auto business and the transportation business. I've sold all of the fleet and going
a well-rounded businessman. That's what I like.
So there's a really good saying about that, and you spoke on it earlier about being well-rounded.
Yeah, man.
I think especially as a man, it's better to have all attributes or all important attributes ticked, rather like you have all 7s across the board as attributes you need to be a man. All 7s across the board rather than 10s and 0s. Yeah, well-rounded. You can do something in every area.
There's a saying that says you're a jack of all trades and master of none. But I think you should really master a few. A jack of all trades, master of a few. So for me, it's anything to do with with hosting. I went to a comedy show because being a host, you have to be in the moment. You have to be like a real life. For me, I don't tell planned jokes. Never. I don't download jokes from the internet. I don't do black man, white man, and child man.
Because you have to go and you have to go feel out the audience.
I don't do the black man, white man. So for me, it's in the moment. It's seeing, it's being a gimmick. Like seeing a man in a pink jacket. Right? It's like seeing a man in a pink jacket and like say, oh, whose jacket is that? And the audience start look. So that vibe. I went to a comedy show and it's like one of the Jamaica's top MCs saw me there, and you know it's Johnny Daly and the first what's his name? I can't remember his name, but a few of the top comedians were there, and like when he saw me there, the first thing he do, I drag me and he started introducing me to everybody else. Yeah. This man needs to be on the show. You get me? And I tell people in my wedding outburst, you know, in my next life, I'll be a comedian. You get me? Because the jokes can come like this. But I just need to see
it's
it.
like that mixture though, like that natural mixture.
Yeah, man. So it's like natural for me. And so for me, as you said, what's next is growth, honing the skills, becoming the best.
Yeah.
You know, I could say that I am now. But the truth is, I hate to toot my own horn. I fall within the top 2.
You can tell it to the mirror still. We can put a mirror right there. So.
I'm the best. I can't tell it to the camera. Can't tell it to the audience. But truth is, you know I sit well amongst the top 2. Yeah. And that is good.
Well, I must say it because as I said, like the entire space, everybody, whether that be young people, old people, this is the man that actually
the top 2 is you now and you in 5 years.
Well,
Number 1 is you in 5 years.
You know what? At the end of the day, I really want somebody up there with me because you want to give people variety. Yeah. You know, you can, you know, like the artists. No, you have who was the king of the dancehall, and then who is becoming the king of the dancehall. Yeah. People want variety. So for me, I honestly don't want to be there alone. It's probably a wrong way to look at it, but I'm not selfish. I don't want to be. I want to give them multiplicity. So somebody needs to be there to challenge me to be better. Because me always challenge myself, you know? But I want this next MC who him go put on him clothes and come out and say, yo, you better so that. You get me? Not with any envy, you know. It's just I'm like, now challenged. I want to see him give a joke, make the audience kick over. And I say,
and that make you proud in yourself too, you know, especially if you're an inspiration to him.
Yeah, and so that's the vibe I live by. Is I want to always be challenged to be a better version of Ozzy. Always coming up with something new, always fresh. And so while there may be others in the space, you know, there are going to be the few. And I want to be among the few.
And you're mentoring as well. So
yeah, man. I have a few proteges that I'm working with now who have sought me out. Yeah. They say, hey, why don't you do an MC masterclass? But truth is, you know, sometimes time is you know, when you manage the time down to the T and you see you only have X amount of hours available of free time, then you think about family, wife want a little hug up, kids want you come watch them play football, you get me?
Or a brother.
Yeah, you know, your son, they want to go move, you know? so sometimes you have to manage it.
You call that one. You call that one, huh?
Yeah, so in a nutshell.
So we have a special request from me, Damion.
Yeah,
so, you know, we're wrapping up now, but we have a special request from you.
Not tell me I sing you.
No, me don't want to do the outro. Chavez don't want to do the outro, and we don't want Damion to do the outro. Yeah. But I love if Ozzy could have closed.
Oh, Jesus. So
I love if Ozzy could have closed.
But before Ozzy close, where can the viewers find you?
All right, so all social media platforms. Strangely, I've had to master or become proficient with this social media thing because I don't really have the time.
You're going great though, because you have that Sunday thing that you're doing right now.
Yeah, the live, Singles Live. It will be back on September the 3rd. I think that's the next available Sunday. I have weddings every Sunday, and after that, every Sunday till the year.
That's so much people I get married, dog.
Listen, I have weddings every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I go to church on Saturday, leave church in the evenings, go to weddings, MC, Sunday. And sometimes it flows over into Monday too. So, you know, but Facebook, a lot of people don't use that. Instagram, TikTok is where I see a lot of the energy now. I have a platform on all of those, but I spend most of my time on Instagram. That's where most of my customers and my clients come from, and I'm very active on Instagram. So you can find me at On-Call Weddings JA on all social media platforms. On-Call Weddings JA. Anyway, go and type in On-Call Weddings is me. Yeah. Go on the World Wide Web. You type in On-Call Weddings JA. You'll see
a lot of fake
Wedding Wire.
One anchor.
The fake page in a place still, you know, because like even you being a pastor as well, like you have man who impersonate you as a pastor.
It have to come good, you know. It have to come good. But Uncalled Weddings JA, that's the page, and you see the bald-headed nigga on the front of it. That's me. And so you know, you drop us a DM. If you're a person who prefers to use WhatsApp, business number is 876-475-2269. 2269.
Monty, remember that to put that on the screen as well.
475-2269. That's the number. And of course, you can email us at uncalledweddings@gmail.com. The website will be coming up soon, which is www.uncalledweddings.com. It's no longer Uncalled Weddings JA. We're working on that. And phone call away. All you have to do is call.
All you gotta do is call.
So we'll reach Ozzy and now. So that was Damion. We'll reach Ozzy.
And you have to tell me what you want the outro to feel like. But generally, when I'm closing a show, you know, when you're hosting is different from when you're speaking like this. You know, this is very calm and very. But when you're hosting, there's a greater rasp and a lot of.
You with the raw.
We're going to need a minute for transition, you know? Yeah. So what's this? The Billionaire Podcast?
Winners win.
All right. So hold on. So all right. So take one. Ready, ladies and gentlemen. This is your host Ozzy Austin. It was a pleasure being here on the Billionaires Podcast. Winners win, and we are out. We're done. Yeah. So pleasure being here, and thank you so much.